The sound of roaring engines echoed through the small desert town, a thunder that made windows rattle and hearts skip. It was a late afternoon when the Hells Angels rolled into Sparrow's diner, their chrome machines glinting under the dying sun. Inside, the usual chatter fell to a whisper. People always grew quiet when they arrived, rough men in leather vests, tattoos snaking down their arms, eyes hidden behind dark shades. But among them, one man stood out. Ryder Cole, their chapter leader, had a silence about him that carried weight. He wasn't the loudest, nor the angriest, but when he entered a room, even the air seemed to still. That day, Ryder came in for his usual order, black coffee, 2 eggs, no toast. But what caught his attention wasn't the food, or the nervous glances from the townsfolk, it was the trembling hands of the young woman behind the counter. Her name was Mara. She'd only been working there a few weeks, but Ryder had noticed her before, the quiet one, polite, always keeping her head down. Normally she smiled at everyone, even when they didn't deserve it. But today, that smile was gone. As she handed him his plate, her sleeve slipped down, revealing the faintest trace of a bruise near her wrist. When she turned to pour coffee, Ryder noticed something worse. Her bottom lip was split, like someone had struck her recently. Before we go deeper into this story, if you believe in kindness, second chances, and the quiet power of standing up for what's right, please take a moment to like, comment, share, and subscribe to Kindness Tales. Stories like this remind us that compassion can come from the most unexpected hearts. Ryder didn't say a word. He ate his breakfast like always, but inside, something burned. He wasn't a saint, far from it. He'd done things he wasn't proud of. Things that had left scars on his soul as deep as the ones inked into his skin. But one thing he couldn't stand, not ever, was seeing someone hurt who didn't deserve it. And when he saw Mara trying to hide her pain behind trembling hands, a fire lit in his chest that he hadn't felt in years. For the next few days, Ryder came back every evening. He'd sit at the counter, quiet, just watching. Mara avoided his eyes, always wearing long sleeves, always mumbling that she was fine. But Ryder had seen that look before, in the shelters, in the backstreets, in the eyes of people who thought no one cared enough to notice. One night, after the diner had closed, he was still parked outside, pretending to check his bike. Through the dusty window, he saw Mara's boyfriend storm in, a man with a mean face and liquor in his eyes. He grabbed her arm so hard she winced. Ryder clenched his fists. He saw the man shove her, shouting something that made her shrink back. Ryder's heart thundered, his jaw tight. He could almost hear his old mentor's words echo in his mind, "You don't turn away from pain, Ryder. Not if you can stop it." That night, he didn't go home. He stayed outside, engine off, the desert cold creeping through his jacket. He waited until the man left, stumbling out of the diner, cursing into the wind. Then Ryder walked inside. Mara was wiping her tears with shaking hands, trying to look composed when she saw him. But he didn't speak. He just placed his leather jacket around her shoulders and said softly, "You don't deserve this." Then he walked out, leaving her stunned and silent under the flickering neon lights. The next morning, Mara didn't show up for work. The manager assumed she quit. But Ryder knew better. He rode out to the edge of town, to the rundown trailer park everyone avoided. That's where he found her, sitting on the steps, a suitcase beside her, face swollen, eyes red from crying. When she saw Ryder's bike pull up, she flinched, like she expected trouble. But when she met his eyes, something inside her broke. She started sobbing. She didn't need to explain. He just nodded once, opened the sidecar on his Harley, and said, "Get in." They rode out under the morning sun, the wind whipping through their silence. He didn't take her to the police, they'd failed her before. Instead, he took her to the Haven, a shelter run by an old friend of his, a woman named Teresa who helped abused women rebuild their lives. Ryder dropped Mara off with a quiet promise, "You're safe now." Days turned to weeks. Ryder kept visiting the diner, but it wasn't the same without her. Still, something about what he did had changed him. The other bikers noticed it too. He'd started talking about community rides to support the local shelter, organizing food runs for the women there. Some of the club didn't get it. "We're outlaws, not angels," one of them said. But Ryder just smirked. "You can be both," he replied. Then one afternoon, Mara walked back into the diner. Her bruises were gone, replaced by a gentle, confident smile. She was wearing a new apron and a small silver cross around her neck, a gift from the shelter. When she saw Ryder, she hesitated for a moment, then walked up to him and whispered, "You saved my life." Ryder shook his head. "You saved your own. I just gave you a ride." The story spread through the town like wildfire. People started looking at Ryder differently, not just as the biker who led a feared gang, but as the man who stepped in when no one else dared. He became a quiet symbol of redemption, proof that even those branded by their past could still do something right. And for Mara, it was the start of a new chapter. She found peace, safety, and even began volunteering at the shelter that once took her in. Years later, when Ryder passed away in a tragic highway accident, dozens of women from the shelter attended his funeral. They placed white roses on his coffin, each representing a life he'd touched. And Mara, now the head cook at the diner, stood by his photo, whispering, "You were my angel in leather." If this story touched your heart, please take a moment to like, share, and subscribe to Kindness Tales. Let's remind the world that compassion doesn't always wear a suit, it sometimes rides a Harley. Speech balloon special request, in the comments, share your thoughts. Do you believe people can change, no matter their past? Your answer might inspire someone who needs to hear it today.